And joining us tonight to talk more about the preparations for Hurricane Henri is Jason Wind. He is a response division director with FEMA, covering New Jersey, New York, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands. Thanks for making the time for us tonight.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
All right, so a lot of people in the path of this hurricane have never even experienced a hurricane before, right? It's been 30 years since the last one in some regions, and those regions aren't built for tropical storms. So how does this make preparation different for you all?
Well, I think you mentioned I respond to the Virgin Islands and to Puerto Rico. So the people down there are very accustomed, just like the gentleman who just had on the news who was from Florida, they're very accustomed to having readiness kits. They have plans, communication plans. They know where shelters are. They know where evacuation routes are. So it's something up here that people really aren't ready. I think the main thing that people need to focus on now is just be smart about things. Obviously, don't go in the water. Stay off the roads when the storm's coming. If you're in an area that's prone to flooding, leave the area, go somewhere safe. Listen to your local officials. I mean, I'm working right now in my regional response coordination center in South Jersey, and we listen and we monitor multiple different news channels. And if you listen to the local and state officials, they give really good advice. They tell you where you go to need help. They tell you to, basically things I just said, be smart, be safe. So I think that what people really need to do is just use their head and do what they can to stay out of danger. If they're in an area where they're potentially could be harmed, it could be flooded, go somewhere else, go to a family member. If you don't know where to go, reach out to a local fire department, police department, emergency management office. There's always someone there willing to help. You just have to put forth a little bit of effort to find out where to go.
And likewise, the infrastructure isn't in place, right? Like the way buildings are built in Florida or other places that are accustomed to hurricanes. What are you expecting when it comes to the aftermath here?
It's hard to say. I mean, historically, I can speak from New York and New Jersey. A lot of the coastal houses were rebuilt during Hurricane Sandy and like the Hurricane Henri events. So they were built to be more resilient than they previously were. And for New England, I can't really talk about it, but I think personally, and this storm, I think this storm is going to be, you can compare it to other storms, but I think this storm is going to be more of a rain event than a wind event. So I feel, and I'm not a meteorologist, but I feel that inland flooding may be the biggest risk for this storm. So I don't think that buildings are going to be toppling over or roofs blowing off or anything of that nature. But I do think there is a risk of inland flooding. And when it comes to that, I mean, there's not much you can do if you're just in an area that's prone to it. You just have to let the water recede. In some areas, pump water out, things of that nature.
Yeah, you mentioned Hurricane Sandy. Did that teach us any lessons? Are they doing anything differently in that region? I know it's not your area, but have you been hearing about anything that's different now that they've experienced Sandy?
Well, New York City's done a bunch of different things differently. They have 6 different flood evacuation zones. They have water barriers that they put in place at different, critical infrastructure. So they've learned a lot from Hurricane Sandy, and they've also vastly increased what their organic resources are to, fight storms. I mean, before Hurricane Sandy, which wasn't even a hurricane, it was just an extremely large tropical storm. No one really ever imagined that, that large of an area would get impacted at one time. So I think that both New York and New Jersey have done a really good job of building things more resilient, putting a lot more money and effort towards having emergency equipment, generators. A lot of gas stations have transfer switches installed and backup generators. A lot of those kind of preparatory and positive type initiatives to make the infrastructure in that area more resilient.
And 42 million people are under storm alerts. Are people paying attention and doing what they need to do in advance of possible landfall tomorrow? I lived in Florida for a long time. People just completely ignored all the warnings because they were so used to these types of tropical storms.
I personally, I mean, obviously I can't speak for everybody, but I personally think they are. I know that, friends of the people that I work with, I know my family, everyone takes this very seriously. And I think that after Sandy happened, kind of like I referred to before, it really kind of woke some people up to the impacts of a tropical storm, especially like you mentioned, in an area that's not accustomed to getting them every day. So I think people are taking this very seriously. And if you turn on any local news channel, you're going to see, tropical storm warnings, forecast, advice by local and state leaders. So I personally feel that people up here are taking this very seriously, from the citizen all the way up to the state and local governments.
All right, Jason Wind from FEMA. I know you're going to be busy soon, so thank you so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate having you.
Thanks a lot. Have a great night.